I saw a couple of letters that you've written, open letters to the management. And the first one I took away, what I took away from it was basically, be careful about your predictions. Don't predict too much.
Yeah, keep expectations low. And unfortunately for Snap is that the expectations have run up dramatically. And so to put that into perspective, is they went out saying that they're going to do about $1 billion in revenue in 2017. That's up from just over $400 million in 2016. And now, unfortunately, investors are now thinking that number is going to be closer to $1.1 billion. So it's hard for them to tap it down, but that's one of our pieces of advice to them is keep expectations low.
So as you take your pencil out, can you come up with $1 billion, $1 billion, $2 billion is a plausible number for revenue?
It all comes down to ARPU growth, and right now it's at $2.50. Facebook is at $22, so if they can just inch up that ARPU, that's how they get to a higher number. So they can get there, but it's going to take some work. I'm
sure the whole world knows what ARPU means, but maybe we should say it's average revenue per user, right?
That's exactly right. And that's kind of the key area that they're going after. They're not talking about growing their base. When Facebook went public, their goal was to connect all the people in the world. Snapchat's goal is to be a camera company. And so by being a camera company, they create more features, and then they charge advertisers for that. And so growing that ARPU is kind of their key focus about how they're going to grow revenue.
Gene, I'm going to ask you a really unfair question, so brace yourself. In your old job, what would you have initiated this company at? Because the analysts have come to market. It's hard to really gauge what this company is going to be in the next several years, never mind how to value the company full stop. How would you value the company, and what would you do?
I would probably have it rated a neutral at this point, and it's pretty easy to say that just because it's up so dramatically, but I think it's important to note history would say when these lockups come off, which are going to be in about 6 months, anticipation of that typically is not good for these IPO stocks. Separately, as we just talked about, expectations, despite management's efforts, have already accelerated out of what they would probably feel comfortable about. And so what you set up is this next year is going to be a roller coaster for shares of Snap, and I think that there's really no urgency to own it today. So that would be the neutral part. I do want to quickly say is that beyond a year, I think that Snap is uniquely positioned to be one of the winners in tech because of their vision of a focus on a camera. The camera is the future of communication. We've gone away from text, and now we're moving to photos and video. And that focus and that piece of augmented reality, I think, is going to benefit the company. So to answer your question, it would be a neutral rating with a positive longer-term bias.
We got some free research there, Gene. Thank you very much. My other question to you then, I haven't heard many people actually subscribe to the idea that it is a camera company, so I wanted to delve a little deeper on that. Is it a camera company on its own, or does it need to pair up with a much bigger beast to really monetize this business with the biggest potential?
The next 2 years, it needs to work closely with the existing cameras, which really are Samsung and the iPhone. And they're going to create links to that, and they do that today, and that's what's driven their business. They just came out with spectacles. No one really has them. They're pretty silly, but they really prove an important point. They do one thing exceptionally well, which is create the Snap experience. Snap has many engineers. I don't know what the number is. I've heard up to 600 hardware engineers. And so I think to answer your question is it's partner over the next couple of years, but longer term, the company needs to come up with its own hardware. And that's what's going to keep people like Facebook in check for their ability to do that. And so I think that that is an important part of the story, which is hard for investors to wrap their head around.